All right. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem.
Well, let's talk about this book because there's so much going on in this series, but I know one of the core concepts is immortality. We've seen different takes on that concept before. So, what was kind of your main mission statement going into this and building a story around that concept? And was there anything you wanted to steer away from or avoid?
Well, I mean, immortality seems to be a very big human wish, right? I mean, we don't want to die. And so there's that. And for immortality, it was a really great opportunity for a playground, for a sandbox. We get to have this character go through, in our case, 80,000 years. And if you imagine immortality with a dilemma, that a never-ending dilemma, I think you have a strong emotional conflict, and which is great for storytelling.
One of the things we liked exploring too was the idea of like what it's really like. What is it like to have all these memories stacked up on top of each other too, and like what does that do to you psychologically, and then what does one day mean when you have endless days? So I think it's been kind of fun to sort of explore that.
Yeah, especially with this character, because you're kind of digging out, all of those memories as you go, and the reader's really getting a sense of how daunting and confusing it is for B, to just kind of sort through all that. Ron, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I was just thinking, if you're somebody who's immortal, but your sense of purpose, your purpose is something that you might not necessarily be happy about. That could be a pretty torturous journey to be immortal, never being able to die. You might want to die, as Keanu acts out. Keep going, Keanu. So it would be torturous because life needs purpose. But if you're immortal, you kind of, what is the purpose beyond that? You know what I mean? If you're just a killing machine, but you're sort of, you have a moral sort of, aversion to it, then, that's a pretty bad dilemma, right?
Lots of fun.
Yeah, this book is real upbeat.
At the end of the day, killing is always fun.
Well, and I feel like Torture's Journey, I feel like Ron put it really well. Like Torture's Journey is actually pretty accurate, especially with all the, the guilt that kind of comes with what he's doing, because he's doing it for his family. He's doing it for people he cares about, but he comes to terms with kind of seeing himself as a weapon. And Keanu, you've played characters that have been, that have gone through darker things and that have had to kind of deal with violence. But I feel like even those are kind of like sunshine and rainbows compared to this. Yeah. Was that kind of being on the edge and that a little bit more brutal type of character and scenario, was that something that kind of drew you to the concept? And if not, what was the thing that kind of drew you to
I
this?
think this is all therapy for Keanu, to be honest with you. He's just like, he's got so much violence going on in these movies.
Life and art, Ron. Life and art. Did that answer your question?
Sorry to interrupt.
No. It's pretty accurate there. If that is this kind of therapy for you?
Sure, why not? Yeah. I mean, I think the creative act is. Yeah.
It is, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. I think the impulse for the kind of hyper violence for the project wasn't I don't know if it was in reaction to other works of art. I mean, I guess it has to be part of it. But so there is an impulse to go farther. Yeah.
The difference is I have to draw this shit.
Yeah. Yes.
I have to get in there and get inside the bloods and guts of it. and
I think
out of myself.
I think that we're showing it. The violence is over the top, but I think we're the flip side of that is we're addressing the violence in a way that we don't see we haven't seen in other mediums or other formats, and like there's two sides to it. There's the violence that, to me, like as a consumer, I'm a huge fan of it. Like I love watching it, but there's also the other side of me that's like, not in real life, so there's like a guilt that comes with enjoying it too, that I think we're kind of playing with that duality of this character, of needing to do it and also not wanting to.
That is true. Actually, I can't look at photographs of, I mean, I can, but I have a tough time looking at real life photographs of horrible things that have happened to people, hit by trains or whatever it is. But I can draw the hell out of it and have it not bother me, but I can't see it, the real life part of it. So it's different, definitely. I don't know why, but
I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty good barometer for humanity. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing,
You're not a sociopath.
And speaking of it, because there are some really amazing sequences, and ones that are hard to look at, because it's like, oh my God, like that's just what that looks like, beyond painful. Was there something where you ever had to rein it in, Ron? Or were you just kind of like
well, no, quite actually I had to rein it out more in the beginning. Initially I was, having been conditioned by working with Marvel and having to rein it in. Initially I was a little bit more hesitant, and then Keanu said, and Matt, they were like, hey, can you up the violence a little bit? I was like, sure, why not, man? That sounds good to me. And then, it's funny because each successive issue, there were more and more things that were even more, how far can this go? But I guess it's limitless. There was one scene in particular where it wasn't about reining in, it was just about figuring it out. I don't know, you read all of them, I assume. Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay. So the scene where Little B is on, he's standing there facing off against, this army, and he leaps up with this spear and it goes through one guy's mouth and through a horse's head, and then he comes down at the same time as he slices somebody in half, so getting all that and to create this ballet of violence visually. And that's what I try to do, is sweeping motions of everything has to feel like a ballet, more than anything to me. So, and that's, to make the violence artistic rather than it just be, oh, look, there's a heart over there. Oh, look, there's somebody's kidney. I wanted it to feel like this whole thing was a sweeping symphony of destruction. So
for sure. For sure. And, what I guess because of the success of the series, has that changed kind of any of, your plans, whether that was just for the story as you kind of move along, or just plans to like continue with this world? I imagine you had kind of a set vision, but the book's taken off and it's done really well. So I didn't know if that has changed at all because of that.
What has changed?
Like your plans for having a, beginning and an end. Have you thought about spinning that out or making the story longer just because it's been so successful and it's been so well received?
No. With I guess yes and no. I mean, this is definitely created with the intention of 12 issues. Boom is talking about, and we're looking at perhaps doing annuals. So there's that happening.
Nice.
Yeah. Because there's such a big playground. So it's like, maybe we can take little tranches or slices and tell another separate story.
Yeah. I think we had the idea from the beginning to do 12 issues. And then as we're getting through it, there's so many ideas. There's so much stuff that you can't get it all in 12 issues. That seems like small. So like that idea, I don't know if we can talk about the annuals yet, but the idea of doing like shorter, standalone stories.
You have to be
flesh it out.
What'd you say, Ron?
They said you'd have to be immortal to stuff in all the stuff they want to put in there.
But no, it's been really fun and it's exciting. We don't quite know where we're going with it yet, so that's
We know.
journey.
We know where we're
Actually,
going.
Keanu said
going
to
to
me,
the
I can't
game.
wait to see what happens next. I'm like, I think you'd know that by now. I'm moving too fast, so.
What do you feel is the most misunderstood aspect of B, and how does that compare to some of the other characters you've played?
Misunderstood. I don't have a perspective on that. I didn't know he was misunderstood.
Well, is he misunderstood? Because it feels like he's searching. It's all part of the therapy. He feels like he's like, I don't know, at least from the first, because I've read the first 4 issues, and from this, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like there's empathy, like he's looking for like there's something else. And he feels a little bit of turmoil with the actions he's making, even though he knows that's what he needs to do.
He starts as an innocent character with the best of intentions, and he's also, groomed to feel a certain way through the influence of his father and fathers. But so he has a kind of innocence to him, and then he's kind of welcomed to the real world. And we'll see where that goes.
Well, I was going to ask next.
He's innocent in that he can just rip things, horses' heads off. That's how innocent he is. But that's not really his will, though,
Yeah, exactly. So, and then that gets into another conversation. But, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not misunderstood. It's still being discovered.
That makes sense. And I know, of course, we don't want to get to crazy spoiler territory, but what can you tease about some of the upcoming issues? Does it change in tone?
Yeah, we have this parallel story where we're dealing with the past and we're dealing with the present, and the way that he's being studied. We're not quite sure what the objectives are of the scientists and the entity that's studying him. And so I think we're going to reveal a little bit more about what those are and how.
Issue 12 is Berserker on Mars.
Stop.
Spoiler.
Now I'm going to be completely bummed if that's not the case.
I'm deliberately trying to get you to. I want to see this, like the rumor will start.
You've lifted the bar here. I'm just saying, if we don't go to a different planet, I'm going to be upset. I know I have to let you guys go because I know you are crazy busy. But if you had a fight between B, John, and Neo, why is the winner Ted?
Who the hell, Ted?
Well,
Ted's got to be the winner.
Ted. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all about love, man. Ted has a lot of love.
I think that's the way. He brings everybody together and they hold hands. It's a kumbaya moment, right?
Be excellent to each other.
I would pay to see that. Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to see the rest. I've really enjoyed the series so far, and I truly appreciate taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you. Thanks, man.